G'day, welcome to Unchained Thinker. Thanks in advance for a little bit of your time and attention. So in this video I just want to have a really quick chat about the current health scare that's consuming people's energy. I don't like really talking about it because to me it's just nonsensical, but a lot of people in the world are duped. So I want to try to clarify what I believe to be going on. Now, here's the disclaimer: not a medical professional. This is not medical advice, and I don't have any, degrees or anything like that. This is just a person who's had his fair share of health issues that I've overcome. So through that journey came with a lot of learning, understanding, and gaining knowledge and understanding human systems. Not just human systems, but systems in general. And humans are generally no different. Everything that we see in the world has a balancing effect. Everything's always trying to equilibrate or go back to some sort of, for the human body, into homeostasis. It just wants to be coasting along. All right. So any peaks or troughs are always going to balance out over time, or your body's going to try to do something to balance those sorts of things. So when I say how the human body works, I'm talking about toxicity and efficiency. So a lot of people think that there's some nasty little bug that's zipping around the place and trying to land on your tongue and give you a walloping, and it's just ludicrous. So how can I explain this? You make virus, right? There's no virus that jumped out of some bat somewhere and it's coming to get you, right? Cross-species viruses is an absolute load of junk. People need to educate themselves on terrain theory, right? So terrain versus germ theory. This is a battle for the ages, all right? Germ theory was invented by, what's his name, Louis Pasteur, I think it was. And then the competing theory at the time was from Antoine Beauchamp, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is terrain theory. And terrain theory talks about the terrain. Germ theory is obviously the bugs that are coming to get you. The pharmaceutical industry loves germ theory. They've built their business off germ theory, because terrain theory doesn't make them any money. If everyone realises it's the terrain and works on keeping their body healthy, then they ain't going to make any money. So they don't like terrain theory. Okay, but terrain theory is where the smart money's at. Now, does that mean that there isn't such a thing as pathogens? No, it's not what I'm saying. But the terrain is far more important. A good friend of mine, gave me this analogy, or presented this idea to me. Imagine if I had some grass seeds, okay, and I sprinkle them on the carpet here. I can sit here and water them all day long, or water them every day. I can even sing to them. It doesn't matter what I do; they're not going to grow on my carpet because the terrain's incorrect. All right. If I chuck them out on the lawn, I don't even need to speak to them, look at them, water them. They're probably going to grow because it's the right terrain. Alright, so it's the same with pathogens. Alright, but generally, viruses like, for example, the flu, the cold, whatever, they come from within. Right? What it is, it's part of your metabolism. Okay, and what's your metabolism? The metabolic process It's catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is the destruction of cells and material, genetic material. Anabolism is the synthesis or the recreation, the regeneration of, you know, of genetic material. So the whole metabolic process is about basically regeneration. You know, energy in, energy out. But inside of the body, around the body, on the skin, every part of it is it's bacteria, fungi, parasites. You know, we're a whole big bag of it. You know, and they all live in balance with one another, right? People used to be like, oh, poo-poo to bacteria, and now we understand that, oh, actually, you know, people say there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. Well, there's no such thing as good or bad bacteria. It's just that's just what there is. It's a balanced bacteria biome. If you have toxicity, it's going to create an environment. You're going to stimulate a particular type of those bacteria and fungi and parasites, and they're going to grow more rapidly than another one. Okay, so you create dis-ease and illness within you all the time. So virus, if you go and look up the definition of virus, it means poison. Okay, so it's a toxin that's created by you when the catabolic process of breaking cells down so that they can regenerate or synthesize new ones. As they break down, they leave waste product behind. Now, if you have a good filtering system, you know, so if you sweat well and your kidneys are filtering well and your organs are functioning correctly and allowing everything to filter through, you have a good gastrointestinal tract, you know, and a bowel that functions well, and you know, you sleep well, all of these things in balance with one another, you're going to eliminate those toxins, right? So exercise is another part of that, because it stimulates the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is going to, you know, collect toxins. So when you get sick, your lymph nodes, you know, they swell up. So your lymphatic system is bringing toxins from all around the body, and for them to be expelled, right? So when you have a lot of these toxins, you get sick, you get symptoms, right? So if you've got a pretty poor diet, or if you don't exercise regularly, or if you have very bad sleep patterns, if you have toxic thoughts all the time, if you're taking a lot of medications, if you're exposed to pollution, yeah. Unfortunately, well, we're pretty fortunate here in Tasmania. We don't have a lot of the chemtrails and whatnot that they, you know, do probably on the mainland, but definitely in America. We don't have as much of that, so there's far less air pollution. We have some of the cleanest air in the world, so we're pretty lucky. But there is still a little bit, and water. You know, if you're drinking tap water, you're getting all the crap that's in there, fluoride, chloride, like all the heavy metals and just toxic crap. So all of these toxins build up, and they build up in the cells, and the cells will shed these poison, these toxins, the virus, and then you try to expel that from your body. So it's just part of the process. There is no bug that's aiming to get you, and I know that that's true from my personal experience, because I've got 2 young children who, when they get sick, they don't have this, like my 3-year-old, she doesn't have this feel to be like, oh, I shouldn't cough on people. I'll pick her up, like, oh, hey darling, she'll be coughing in my face. I don't get sick. I reckon out of every maybe 4 or 5 times she gets sick, I might get sick once. Yeah. So, you know, my fiance and my son and my daughter, they'll all be sick, and I don't get sick. Or one of us will get sick, and no one else gets sick. Yeah. So it's you know, if she can cough in my face and in my mouth and I don't get sick, then as far as I'm concerned, germ theory is debunked. Terrain theory is more accurate. So if you go and look at, there are a lot of tests. I believe in the early 20th century they were testing, the just how virulent the flu was, and so they had like 200 people cough on this guy, 200 sick people cough on this guy, close contact cough, and he didn't get sick. So it's silly, to think that the flu is going to get you because there's someone else sick. It's just not. Virologists don't know that much about virus. So again, I'm not saying viruses don't exist. I'm just saying that they're not what we're told, and they're not out to get you. They're a part of the process of metabolism. So it's one of those things. They used to be, bacteria is bad, and now we have this understanding that actually bacteria is good, right? Viruses, they're not bad. They're just part of the process, right? What I know is that they've never isolated this supposed virus that we've got going around. I don't want to use the certain terms I don't want to use because there's heavy censorship these days. But the one that starts with C and has the number 19 in it, they've never isolated it. Go and prove me wrong. If you don't believe me, go looking. I have. I can't find it. They've never isolated it. If you go and look up a fellow called Dr. Stefan Lanka, he won a court case in Germany in 2017 in their equivalent of what the Supreme Court is. I think it's called the DHG or something, but don't quote me on that. He won a court case proving that the measles virus doesn't exist. Right, the live virus doesn't exist. So does that mean measles doesn't exist? No. That means that they've never ever isolated the measles virus. Right? And the same thing's going on now. They've never isolated the virus, and they don't even know what a virus is. Scientists won't even agree whether it's alive or dead. I'm telling you, they're not alive, they're dead. But scientists can't even agree on that. They don't present any of the criteria for being alive, yet they're trying to call them alive because they come and replicate. Well, they can't live outside of the host, is what they're saying. It's because it's poison, it's toxic matter from you, right? It's the cell's decay matter, all right? And so if someone coughs that on you, it's not going to replicate and spread, right? Again, I don't know. There is no direct causality there, and they can't prove that either. So what causes flu? Well, what causes, animals have like pheromones and things, So there's things that we can't, we don't know that we're smelling, but they know it. Like there's reports, for example, of females on birth control, and they come off birth control years later and find that they're not attracted to their partner all of a sudden, because they smell them for the first time. So there's all sorts of anecdotal stuff like that, like women's menstrual cycles syncing up or syncing to the full moon, and all these sorts of inexplicable things. Inexplicable when you're looking at it through the eyes of the mainstream medical narrative. But when you realise that that's a load of junk, then all of these possibilities start coming back into play. So what is it? I don't know. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm looking with my own eyes, my own experience, and I'm looking through the data every night because I love researching things, and there is no definitive answer on this. So the word influenza, if you look at the etymology of that, comes from the word influence, and it was hundreds of years ago meant influence of the stars. So I find that interesting. Now if you go back hundreds of years, you'll find that the stars, what we call planets, used to be from the word planetas, meaning wandering stars, and of the wandering stars, the sun was included. So when they're talking about influenza and influence of the stars, are they referring to the position of the sun? Because if you look predominantly when the sun is the furthest away from you, so your winter time is generally when you get sick. So it's like this, perhaps this internal trigger for toxins to be released, and perhaps there is influence from others that have it, signaling you somehow energetically, pheromones. Again, I don't know. This is, for me, this is mind gravy. I love it. I love thinking about what can cause these sorts of things. But is that sort of thing influencing when the detoxification process happens? Because that's all influenza is, the cold or the flu. It's your own body's personal detoxification process. Another thing to think about, which sort of backs up my point, is if you get, say you've got tonsillitis and you go to the doctor, they say, if it's bacterial, we can help you. We'll give you some antibiotics. If it's viral, nothing we can do. Right? I don't know how many times I've heard the doctors say that. Because they can't stop your body from detoxifying itself. So if it's bacterial, they give you antibiotics, they're killing the bacteria, because bacteria are alive. They're not just killing bacteria, the good bacteria, or the bacteria that are causing the tonsillitis, they're killing a whole range of things. That's why antibiotics isn't really a good idea either. You have to learn to let the body run its course. If you don't like getting sick, you need to try really hard to stay healthy and avoid toxins. If you happen to have a viral version of tonsillitis, or a viral infection, as they call it, then there's nothing they can do. Why is that? Stands to reason, logically, that because it's not alive, they can't kill something that's already dead. Okay? It's your body's waste. And it comes out with fever, which causes you to sweat and release. Comes out with coughing, get it out. Comes out through the mucus, get it out. Right? That's the lymphatic system binding it all together. And out the nose it comes. Right? If you have some sort of viral thing going on in your tummy, well, you're going to have a nasty time on the toilet. It's your body expelling toxins. That's it. There's nothing to be afraid of. So, as I was saying, influence of the stars, with the sun being, low in the sky for you, means winter. Right? So if it's winter, you're not getting very much vitamin D. So perhaps, there's a level there, an indicator of when your vitamin D gets to a certain point, your body goes, all right, boys, it's time to get the troops out there and clean up all this junk, detoxify this. And so your body releases all the, the bacteria to go and eat all the decaying cells, which causes, again, all this viral, this poison, the toxic matter, which we call virus, and it detoxifies. All right. So there's nothing to be afraid of. If you don't like getting sick, then you need to get healthy and stay healthy, which means healthy foods, not processed sugars, not processed foods, not deep fried foods. If it's got a really long life on it, don't eat it. So preferably raw fruit and vegetables are going to be the healthiest thing for you. But a balanced diet, all right, is going to be a great way to go. Regular exercise to whatever level you're able, but get that heart rate up a little bit. Get yourself sweating, all right. Plenty of water so you can make sure you're filtering everything correctly, and good sleep routines, and get those thoughts right. Okay. Living in a state of fear is going to worsen toxicity and dis-ease. It's just, it's all part of it. When you take a step back and look at the holistic way that humans function, your thoughts matter. The things you say matter. These are all vibrations that can cause toxicity. If you're in a negative, depressive mind cycle all the time, it's gonna drain you. Right? So you need to be, you need to show gratitude for things. Whether it's directed at someone or to someone or just to the thing that I've made a cup of herbal tea tonight. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, tea. I know it sounds stupid, but be grateful. Everything you put out into the world, into the ether, will come back to you. Right? So put out gratitude, and then people will be grateful for your presence as well. So simple things. As far as this bug that's going around at the moment with a few letters and numbers in it, it doesn't exist. Right? It's your body's own detoxification. Now I've got, just to show you what I'm talking about here, and I'm going to fly through this real quickly. I've done up some stats here. Right? You can pause the screen and read the data if you want to spend a bit more time on this. But otherwise I'm going to fly through it because it's already been a long enough video. And also I've got the sources underneath for where I've got this. Now these stats here are up to the 10th of November. I did this on the 24th of November. I did one on the 28th of September as well, but the 24th of November, more current, but it was 2 weeks. The statistics were 2 weeks behind. So here we'll look at Australia, which is where I am. The main statistics here. So we've got a population of a little shy of 26 million. At the time we had 184,000 cases, and that equates to percentage of cases, COVID cases as a percentage of the population of 0.71%. Alright, so it's really low, really low. At the time we had 1,858 deaths. The case fatality rate, or the COVID deaths as a percentage of the cases, is 1%. So you're less than a percent chance of getting it, and of those people, a bang on a percent chance of dying from it. That equates to 0.007%. Alright, that's 7 out of 100,000 people. So when everyone keeps telling me that they've got to do their part and get this thing, and that I'm a twit because I haven't done it and I'm putting them at danger, what danger? Where are all the people that are dying? Everyone keeps telling me, oh, everyone's getting sick and dying from it. I call baloney, alright? So this is just the flu. This one is a breakdown of, again, pause the video if you like, and here's my sources down the bottom. These are from Australian government websites, okay? This is a breakdown of the cases and deaths, and then age groups, okay? And this is why I love this data, because it's pointing out the obvious. Your cases, the majority of the cases are happening in the these middle few age groups here, where predominantly you're looking at young kids, drinking energy drinks and probably eating crap food, young males and females, partying, and maybe they've started adulthood, which is very stressful, and they're not eating right, and same through the 30s, and then it's starting to lapse a bit. You're not getting as many cases, and then very few cases in the elderly, right? Unfortunately, they're the ones that are more likely to die from it. Okay, so you've got much higher case fatality rate for older people, but it's really low. It's like for all these cases, there's absolutely bugger all deaths. Okay, it's ridiculous. So percentage of cases to the population. So you point, 1212, 0.16, 0.14. It's so low, and it's even lower in old people. Unfortunately, they're the ones that are, a third of people 90 plus are the ones that are actually dying if they do get it. So it's not low chance of getting it, but if they get it, But it's the same with the flu every year. It's the detoxification process. So the more toxicity that's built up, especially if it's paired with deficiency. So if you've got comorbidities, then you're obviously, your system's lacking, and it's got build up of toxicity. So something like the flu often kills people that are already sick or well aged, and that's unfortunate because we all have loved ones, and we all know people that are unhealthy or we have grandparents and things like that. You don't want to see them die, but it is part of life, unfortunately. There's nothing to be scared of. You don't run around in fear because you're going to cause the thing that you're trying to. The more energy and thought that you ascribe to something, the more likely it is to happen. Right? You create your reality with your thoughts. People don't understand this. They don't understand that where you focus your attention is what will come to be. So deaths in young people, we're looking at all the way up until the age of 40. This is as of the 25th. These figures are at the 25th, so I actually updated the night after I did this. So I originally did it on the 24th, and then I got the newer stats. So from the 25th, under 40, so all the way up to 39, you had 28, so there's 31 deaths. That's so low. Statistically 0% chance of dying. We had this one person die, and I haven't fact checked this, but I heard that it was the young person in between 0 and 9 that died had other issues as well, other health issues. So as we've seen, it's generally older people or people with comorbidities that are dying, which is generally what happens with the flu. Most people just get a little bit of a cold or mild symptoms, which is exactly what's going on. So it was statistically 0% chance of dying, virtually 0%, virtually 0%, 0.05%. That's death to cases. When you're talking about deaths to the population, statistically 0. So if you're 30 to 39, 0.00007% of the population have died. So that's less than one person per million people have died for 30 to 39. So it's all up. 0.74 plus 0.35. So you're looking at what, 1.1, just shy of 1.1, 1.17, 1.21, 1.21, if I'm doing the maths quickly on the fly. 1.21 people out of a million have died for under 40, from 0 through 40. 1.2 people per million. That's so low. Yeah. What was this one I did? I didn't label this one. I-24. Total. So as a percentage of the total deaths. So that was I-24. So that's the deaths divided by the total deaths. Right? So it's 0.05% of all the deaths occurred for these. Like it's just low. It's just so low. Right? Here's the flu season. I said I was going to fly through this. I'm probably taking a bit long. Here's the year. Alright. I've got the lab confirmed flu cases from each year. I've got the deaths from notified lab confirmed flu cases from each year here. I've done a percentage of deaths to cases, so the case fatality rate, which is almost all, like we had these two peak seasons, 2017 and we had 2019. Alright, we had a lot of cases and a lot of deaths. Case fatality rate still only a little bit of a jump. There was a lot more cases, so therefore a lot more deaths. But here's the population for each year. Again, pause this if you like, and here's my source. Death to population per million. So we had, in our peak years, we had 30 people per million die, and we had just under 38 people per million dying from the flu. Right? In 2020 and 2021, you'll notice here, absolutely F all cases and F all deaths. And in 2021, 0 deaths. And there was articles on the ABC saying, "Oh, Australia has eradicated the flu." Like, wake up, people! Like, it's so obviously in your face. People that are still running scared of this thing need to turn the TV off. Right? It's nothing but fear-mongering propaganda. They're just selling you hype, and it's just such a load of codswallop. The government are criminals, trying to target 5 to 11-year-olds now, right? And they had a big target. They were offering like an iPad or an iPhone for 12 through 18s, whatever it was, for anyone that had the jab by a certain date. They're offering, it's such a kid targeting thing, offer something like that. And like 10 to 19, you're looking at, so they're coming after 5 to 11-year-olds now. So if you combine the 0 through 9 through 10 through 19 age group, you're looking at 0.12 people out of a million. 0.12. So you've got to take it up to 10 million to just get to one person. So it's 1.2 people out of 10 million are dying. Look, we only have 25 million in the country. So we're looking at 3 deaths. 3 deaths. And they want to come after you with this experimental gene therapy, right? You can't catch the flu. You can't catch it. It's your own body causing it. The only way you can catch it is if you have toxins and poisons, right? So when you go and get this jab, they are directly putting foreign matter into your bloodstream and experimental technology that killed all of the animals in the experiments. It's criminal. I want to come after our kids with it. People need to wake up. Because what the long-term effects of this thing are, who knows? Because it's so experimental. They've never ever used mRNA technology on people. Right? And the technology they're using, this spike protein, it sheds. There's documents by the FDA. You can look this up by going to Google and typing FDA shedding, and you'll probably get the hit for the article that talks about shedding. And it talks about how treated individuals are shedding matter so that they can target untreated individuals. So if you haven't had the jab, people that have are potentially spreading the treatment to you. All right. So we like, this is just this technology, unheard of in humans, failed miserably in animals. Why you'd want to be going and injecting yourself with foreign matter and poison that's just completely experimental, I don't know. But the flu didn't go away in 2021, right? It just got relabelled. And people are soaking it up. If you look here, last year, 37.1 deaths per million people. Exactly on par with these peak 2 seasons. Or the year before. So it's just another bad flu season. Right? Now we're having a bit of a ramp up. We haven't even finished the year yet. And I'd say that's because this is the year where people started willingly adding poison into their bloodstream directly. People that ordinarily wouldn't. Alright? Now I'm not going to call this thing the V, and I'm not anti-V either. I'm pro-proof of claim. If you're going to tell me that there's a boogeyman after me, and that you can protect me from it, you've got 2 problems, right? The first one is you have to prove that the boogeyman exists. And it doesn't. Okay? And the second problem you have is you have to prove that your protection from the boogeyman exists. Well, if the boogeyman doesn't exist, the protection doesn't exist. Okay? Let's, for argument's sake, say that the boogeyman does exist. Then we have to figure out whether the protection works. Okay? So if we look at our data here, again you can look up the sources yourself. The TGA, Therapeutic Goods Association, DAEN, the Drug Adverse Event Notifications. You'll get these sort of stats, which is reactions to the injection. Okay, 80,000 adverse events, which is 0.218% of people. Right, this is severely underreported. There's a lot of doctors and nurses that talk about how it's underreported. Nurses just often don't want to fill in the data because it takes so long, and then a lot of times then they're not even making the connection. Like, I know personally a lot of people that have gotten sick, quite sick, very soon after, and they've called it something else, and the person hasn't made a connection. And these are from healthy individuals that don't have ongoing health problems, and all of a sudden, within normally within a few weeks of this new technology, this experimental technology that's been added directly to the bloodstream, the person has ended up getting sick. I wonder why. Because viruses are poison. That's what the root word of virus is. Well, that's what virus means. It means poison. So people are adding the virus in, the poison in. So you're giving yourself the virus. That's how the virus is spread. And then people tell me that I'm the one at risk because I chose not to add something to my body that has no proven, efficacy and safety. You're doing it to yourselves, people. So, total number of deaths from the the inoculations. So that's a percentage of 0.0018%. So that's 1.8 people out of 100,000. Alright? 1.8 people out of 100,000, or 18 people out of a million. Now if we go back up here, alright, deaths to population per million, if you're under 40, it's less than 1 per million. But you're 18 per million, chance of dying from the so-called treatment. Okay? It's simple maths, guys. Simple maths. So it's actually 17.719. Alright, so that's this number here times by 1 million. So this number is not a percentage, but times by severely underreported. If you extrapolate, so if we look here, we've got nearly 0.002, and this one's just over 0.002. So let's assume it's about the same in the world of the underreported stats, mind you. And we go equals that number times that number. You got 118,000 deaths worldwide. As an extrapolated figure. I'm not saying that that's accurate, and I think it's severely underreported, by the way. Now, just to back that up, and this is complete conjecture. Complete conjecture, but our hospital is flooded with people. There's ambulances everywhere. I'm seeing ambulances every day, 2 or 3 often. Everyone I talk to is seeing heaps of ambulances. As soon as I ask them, "Oh, are you noticing a lot of ambulances?" And yeah, they are. Well, I'm in Tassie, and we don't have any COVID down here. So, what's the hospital filled up with? Right, this is abnormal amount of activity at the hospitals. It's really ramped up this year. I wonder why. Okay, so again, I'm not anti-V. I am pro proof of claim. If you want to convince me there's a boogeyman and you know how to protect me from it, you've got to prove the boogeyman's existence and then prove that your protection works. And from all the data that I'm seeing, both of those things are a load of junk. Okay, get the terrain right, people. If you don't like getting sick, then get healthier. Very simple. Anyway, stay in love, not fear. Fear is what's going to empower this thing. Alright, people are running scared and making decisions that they wouldn't ordinarily make because they're in a fear-based mindset. So turn off the TV and I wouldn't be so trusting of the government. The government isn't here to serve you. They're here to govern you. Right? Govern your mind. Okay? So we don't have a government that serves the people anymore. We haven't for a long time. Especially in Australia. It's criminal what's going on here. And now that they're targeting our kids, we've just looked at the stats. So even if you believe in all of this crap, surely there's something inside of you that's ticking over when they're talking about coming for the kids. Alright? It's just not right. But like I said, don't live in fear. I'm not scared of this thing. I'm awake to it, so I'm not going to let it overcome me. But I'm not scared of, it's like the Wizard of Oz. These criminals, these psychopaths that are causing all of this. All in the pockets of each other in the pharmaceutical industries. They're all making an absolute stack of money off all of this. There was a report there that talked about Justin Trudeau in Canada and the kickbacks that he gets from all the inoculations that they have, and that's why there's enough inoculations for, I think it was like 10 inoculations per person in Canada. Well, I'm guessing that the same thing's going on here in Australia, because I got a letter in the mail the other day from the Australian government, which I'm sure everybody got, which was a reminder to have your booster, alright? And the at the bottom, in the bottom paragraph, it said that Australia has secured 151 million doses. Or something, I think it was about 151 million and something. 151, well, we've only got a little less than 26 million. That's including babies and kids. Right? So that's six shots per person. So people got to wake up. This started out as a little flu. They said, we have. They got everyone wrapped up in fear. We have to develop one of them, and then everyone will be right and everything will go back to normal. Well, it hasn't. Everyone has now had 2 of those, and they're making the supposed booster mandatory in a lot of countries, and that'll be coming here. And now there's this new strain, supposedly, again, never been isolated. Right? They physically have not isolated this thing. If you think they have, go and prove me wrong. Go prove me wrong. Who am I? I'm not a virologist. I'm just a guy with a laptop that knows how to read data and do my research. Prove me wrong. You go and do the amount of research I've done, and you find what I've been missing, send it on through. They have never isolated the live virus. These PCR tests that they do, jamming this crap up people's nose to supposedly get something, well, that's a load of crap. Kary Mullis, I think his name is, the guy that invented it, said it should never be used for diagnosing, and you'll be able to find pretty much anything you're looking for if you cycle it up enough times. Right? And that's why you can go and find people that have tested, I think someone tested a kiwi fruit and found it to be COVID positive. Like, wake up, people. Right? The numbers are a joke. The narrative around it is a joke, and it's all there to control your mind, make you do dumb stuff, right? And give yourself the new strain, and then convince you that it's people like me that are spreading this new strain. Well, firstly, you can't spread it. You can only get it if you inject it in, or you can, not it, when I say it, not the thing they're saying, but sickness, general flu-like symptoms, you can only get it if you're in a detoxification state, when it's detoxification time, or by giving it to yourself, directly to the blood. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, there's nothing to be scared of for these bastards. They're the Wizard of Oz. They're a little wizard behind the big curtain, and they're making you scared. Unfortunately, because mass consensus is fooled, it's got a lot of momentum and it's got a lot of energy, and so that makes other people overwhelmed and they don't want to go against the flow. But luckily, more and more people are waking up, because they've pushed people really far, and a lot of people are just going, hang on, something not right here. So hopefully you're one of those people that are starting to figure it out. Hopefully this has helped you with a bit of an understanding about what's going on. Because like I said, you're not going to catch this thing. You can't, right? It's you creating illness or disease through toxicity and deficiency. So you've either got toxins built up, or you're deficient in something. Like most of us are getting sick when we're deficient in vitamin D. Right? There's no sun, you're not able to do, the sun's not able to do everything it does for the body, which is basically help that metabolism process, the regeneration process, right? So plants need sunlight to grow. Oh, so do humans. Who knew? Right? It's just look around, just take a step back, and realise that you're part of all of it. Okay, and then it'll all start to click in and make sense. When you look at it like the medical system trying to zone in on one little thing, you're never going to find the thing, the root cause. You need to take a step back and observe it all, and it'll all start to make sense. Alright, again, not medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a guy with a laptop who knows how to read data. I'm a guy with that trusts my own senses and my own experiences over what I'm being told, and then especially when I try and fact check the things I'm being told. So if that doesn't seem to add up, then I'm going to revert always back to my own intuition, my own senses, my own reasoning, my own logic, and my own observations. Alright, so anyway, stay healthy. Be grateful when you get sick. Stay in a positive mindset, drink a heap of water, and thank your body for doing what it's meant to be doing, which is clearing out the crap. Alright? Okay, have a good night.